everybody sits down. We go to pray to leave. And I leave I'm standing there. I had bought a lottery ticket before I went to church. I've never bought a lottery ticket before. I've never bought one since, but I bought one that night. And so I'm standing there and I'm praying, and I hear this voice, and it's audible. And it says, if you win the lottery, are you going to just ask for $1,000? And I opened my eyes to see who'd said it. I looked around, everybody's praying. And it's kind of like that story from the Bible where where Abraham's got, I can't think of it. Is it Isaac? I can't remember. It's not Isaac. But anyway, there's this guy in the church, and he's taking care of this child that's been left to his care. And God keeps speaking to the child. And the child wakes up, and he thinks it's Samuel or whoever. And he goes to the old guy. And he goes to the guy, and the guy's like, go lay back down. I didn't call you.
Yeah.
And finally he realizes, he's like, oh, it's God. Go back and tell him you're listening. So this happened a couple times. He said it, and I finally realized who I was dealing with. And it pissed me off. I said, he said, if you win the lottery, are you just going to go and ask for $1,000 of it? And I said, no, that's stupid. Why would I do that? And he said, well, that's what you've done with me. And I was like, and I had, there was so much more of God that I could have had, but I didn't want anymore. And he said, I said, I'm sick to death of you. I said, I've worked for you. I've taught Sunday school. I've worked with the youth. I just have worked and worked and worked and worked. And it always something bad happens. And I tell you, I've got just about as much of you as I want in my life, and I don't want any more. And he said to me, and it was funny because, you have this flash forward near-death experience where the interaction is so much the same. So now I have no doubt that was God I was talking to.
Right.
And he says to me, oh, dear one, you've completely misunderstood me. And he said, what if I told you that all I ever wanted from you from this point forward was just to let me love you? Would you be willing to do that? And it took the wind out of me, and I sat down in my chair, and I said, yeah, I'd be willing to do that. And I was just taken from my body, and I'm in this field, and the grass is green, and it was very much like a near-death experience. It was this green that there's not a green like here on earth. And it had this resonance, and the grass had its own song, and there were flowers, and there was water, and it was just transcendent. And Jesus was there, and he had this robe on, and he took me into his arms. And I had been single for so long, and I forgot how much that physical affection is healing, and he took me in his arms, and it just felt so good to be held. And we just kind of were above the ground, just dancing through this field and just healing me, and washing away so much of the hurt that I had about God. And then all of a sudden I'm back, and I'm in my body, and I'm sitting in this chair, and I'm flanked by two men on either side of me, and the church is empty. So I don't know how long I had been gone, and I open up my eyes, and I kind of do that, side to side look, like, oh crap, who are these people?
Yeah.
And the one guy is crying, and his shirt is wet from crying. His eyes are closed. And the guy on the other side is crying, and my shirt's wet from crying, and I didn't even realize I'd been crying. And the guy to my left opens his eyes, and he says, I saw you dancing with him.
Wow.
And I thought, holy crap, I got to get out of here. I don't know what's going on. So I leave. I get up. I don't talk to either one of them. I just get up and leave.